So welcome, everyone. I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Catherine Stafford. I'm the Director of Child Health and Nutrition at Cocoa Kids. So thank you for being here. I know you've all had a long day doing childcare, and you all are a special group. You all are those that said you were interested in knowing more about climate change and your children's health around climate change. And so that's why we're all here today. We're going to bring you a workshop on air quality in hopes of all getting better educated about how we can keep the kids healthy with indoor and outdoor air quality. Tonight we have Allie from Healthy and Active Before 5. We have, wave your hand, Allie. And there's Ellie. We have Doug Blakely and Eliana Batriz. I don't know if I said your name correct, but from Sustainable Contra Costa, and they're going to help us get smarter tonight. So thank you for being here. Allie, did you want to add any? Hi, Dolores. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. And just make sure to please put your name in the chat, as well as the city where your childcare is located. That's how we'll keep track of who's here tonight and make sure to get you a stipend.
And if you recall, way back when Allie and I sent a survey out to you all to find out if you were interested in this topic, and I think it was maybe May. So sometimes things take a little while, but we really wanted to keep working on this project and make sure that we got some good information to you all. So yes, please put your name and your city where you work in the chat. It's going to be important. Okay. And then I'm going to pass it off, I think, to Doug. He's going to start off the presentation and go for it, Doug.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. As mentioned, my name is Doug Blakely. I am the Director of Operations with a local nonprofit called Sustainable Contra Costa. We do go by, the shorter version of that is SCOCO, so you'll hear that word tonight a few times. Eliana Batrez and I will be kind of tag teaming this evening since we're going to provide the entire presentation both in English and Spanish. And what we'd like to do is make this as informal as possible. If anything comes up in the course of the slides that we're presenting that seems interesting to you or something that you'd like to know more about, please, by all means, I think raising your hand is probably the best way, but we also have a small enough group that you can probably just speak up. Otherwise, I would ask, excuse me, that you keep your, stay on mute during the times that you're not speaking or part of the conversation. But Ellie, perhaps you could introduce the Spanish side of this evening for us.
Hola, buenas tardes. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Me llamo Eliana Batrez, trabajo para Sustainable Contra Costa. Nosotros somos un non-profit que tiene que ver con cambio climático, pero también para dar a las personas diferentes recursos para poder pues vivir en una manera más sana y sostenible, en maneras que son importantes. Mientras estamos presentando, si ustedes por favor pueden utilizar su botón de mute, habrá diferentes oportunidades para hacer preguntas, pero mientras estamos presentando, por favor. Y luego, si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden utilizar el botón de la manita para pues levantar su mano.
Thank you. Could we have the next slide, which I think is the agenda? So our agenda this evening, this actually kind of lays it out, although I must say that as we get a little deeper into it, that some of our slides will not exactly follow the order that we've got on the list here. Again, as we get started, I'd like to thank very much both Ali and Catherine for being able to put this together and bringing everyone together. We appreciate you all taking your time out from what has certainly been a long day already. And we'll certainly try to give you all the information that you're interested in, and at the same time, try to get everybody back to their families before the evening gets too much deeper into the night. So, Ali, I'm sorry. Ellie, I'm sorry. Eliana.
Okay, next slide. Okay.
Go ahead.
Entonces, para empezar, muchas gracias a Catherine y a Ali para pues ponernos en contacto con ustedes. Hay diferentes temas que vamos a cubrir, entonces si tienen cualquier pregunta, por favor, la puedes escribir en el chat. Puedes levantar tu mano y por favor, queremos que ustedes participen. Oh, y luego nuestra manera de hacer esto, Doug va a presentar en inglés y luego después voy a presentar en español. La misma cosa.
Thank you. Sustainable Contra Costa, SCOCO. We are a nonprofit based in Contra Costa County. We have a number of programs that we've been working on since we started in 2008. And some of those programs are outlined here. Particular interest tonight, as part of what we're going to be talking about, is the BayREN program, which is the logo to the left of the page. And we work with everything from school-age children, kindergarten on up, to adults. And some of our work is specifically focused on clean air issues. So this is kind of the background for why we're here, and hopefully we'll be able to increase your awareness quite a bit on the subject before the evening's over.
Hay una pregunta en el chat. Sí podemos compartir esta presentación con ustedes después. Ok. Entonces, Sustainable Contra Costa es nuestra organización. Somos una organización sin fines de lucro. Empezamos esta organización en 2008. Algunas de las cosas que hacemos tienen que ver con recursos sostenibles. Eso tiene que ver con las diferentes programas que tenemos. La primera se llama el Cleaner Contra Costa Challenge. Tiene que ver con diferentes acciones que pueden tomar en sus familias o en sus hogares para poder lo siento. Ok. Lo siento, se me fue el pensamiento. Ok, esto es una plataforma donde puedes tomar estas diferentes acciones para poder hacer acciones sostenibles. También tenemos un equipo para adolescentes. Yo trabajo con ellos. Además, vamos a pues, hablar con ustedes sobre East Bay Clean Air Coalition. Pero hoy estamos hablando con ustedes específicamente sobre un programa de BayREN, que es la Red Regional de Eficiencia Energética de la área de la Bahía. Entonces, muchas gracias por dejarnos hablar con ustedes.
So I think we've asked that everybody provide name and some information. I believe Catherine asked for everybody to put the town in which your childcare facility is. As we go a little bit deeper in this evening, we'll be asking for contact information so that we can reach out to you if you're interested in getting involved in some of the programs that we'll be talking about towards the end of the night. But what we'd like to do right now is open it up for a few minutes just to find out what is it that you wanted. What is it that drew you to this evening's meeting? What is it that you'd like to find out about? And what sort of specific issues related to air quality or issues of health around air quality, or perhaps ways to counteract it, bad air quality, air pollution. We'd like you to share your thoughts at this point, and you can either put a comment in the chat line, or at this point you can raise your hand or join the conversation.
Entonces, para empezar esta pues presentación, nosotros tenemos algunas preguntas para ustedes. Ya ya pidieron su nombre y también el ciudad. Pero después de la presentación, también vamos a querer. Oh, okay. Thank you for sending your contact information. Pero vamos a querer esta información para poder contactarlos después sobre el programa que vamos a mencionar. Entonces, mientras tanto, tenemos algunas preguntas para ustedes para pues poder saber la dirección de la noche. Esas preguntas son, ¿por qué estás aquí esta noche, hoy? Y luego, ¿cuáles son algunas preguntas que tienes sobre la calidad del aire? Entonces, para dar sus respuestas, ustedes pueden mandar algo en el chat o también pueden unmute. Okay. ¿Qué opinan? What do you all think?
Let's see, one question that is in the chat at the moment. I'm interested in learning what I can to help my children in care be as healthy as possible. I'm always interested in learning more. I think that I think you'll find this evening's program very helpful in that regard. We're going to be discussing both outdoor air quality and indoor air quality. They're related both in the fact that they are a form of pollution. There's some overlap in terms of the types of pollution that is involved in both places. And then there's also going to be quite a bit of discussion on the things that you can do to reduce the health risks for yourself, for your family, and for the young children who are coming into your homes every day.
Entonces, la primera pregunta, no es pregunta, sino un pensamiento. Alguien dijo que ellos vinieron porque están interesados en aprender diferentes maneras de ser lo más saludable posible y también para nomás aprender más. Hoy vamos a hablar con ustedes sobre la calidad del aire adentro y también afuera. Entonces, queremos proveer ustedes con pues información que les pueda ayudar en algún contexto. Let's see.
I'm looking at Danielle's comment. I live close to many farms and open fields, and many of my children tend to have seasonal allergies. I'm not sure if these allergies may be related to dust being kicked up by tractors. What can I do to help the children during the planting and the harvesting seasons? And in addition to the dust, certainly, Danielle, there are problems with pollen and various other types of allergens that are probably becoming airborne as a result of the tractors and the various type of work that's being done. We will talk about some of the actions you can take both outside and things that you can do in your home with regard to reducing those problems to a certain extent.
Awesome. Y Danielle dijo que ella vive cerca de diferentes granjas y nomás áreas abiertas donde no hay muchas cosas. Y muchos de sus niños que cuidan tienen alergias. No sabe si las alergias tienen que ver con el polvo que sale de las granjas, pero también quiere decir los tiempos de cosecha. Sí vamos a hablar sobre eso. Hay diferentes contaminantes en el aire y también sí el polvo tiene contribuye a las alergias y también el polen y cuando cuando están mezclados ellos contribuyen al calidad de aire más peor. Pero sí vamos a hablar de eso. The
I think-
next question.
Yeah, I think most of the questions here, Eliana, are ones that we're going to be covering in the course of our presentation. So we can certainly circle back and make sure that we answer these questions. Very much it is our intent to help you understand what causes the air pollution that is both out in the outside areas as well as inside your homes. The health effects from those, and then the sorts of things that you can do that will improve or protect everybody.
Entonces, muchas gracias para sus preguntas. Sí vamos a cubrir las preguntas que ustedes nos mandaron. Nuestro propósito hoy es hablar con ustedes sobre maneras para tener una hogar más sana y también queremos que ustedes pueden ver diferencias en la calidad de aire y también queremos explicarles todos los muchos diferentes factores que contribuyen a los diferentes niveles de calidad de aire.
Thank you. So the first question, or kind of the basis for this conversation, is what is pollution? And by definition, a pollution is a harmful substance that has been introduced into the environment. And we have many different kinds. The 6 that we've outlined here include air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. You normally don't think of it too much, perhaps, but if you lived in a large city, noise pollution could certainly be a problem, or if you lived around construction sites or some heavy industry of some type or the other. There is radioactive pollution and contamination that can occur. And nowadays in our urban society, there is light pollution that we have to think about. But we are going to be talking almost exclusively tonight about air pollution.
Entonces queremos empezar con la definición de contaminación. Entonces, la contaminación es una sustancia nociva que ha sido introducido en un medio ambiente. Entonces, hemos incluido 6 ejemplos de diferentes tipos de contaminación. Entonces, aire, agua, la tierra, el ruido, la contaminación radioactiva y también la contaminación de luz. Pero hoy vamos a hablar con ustedes primariamente sobre la contaminación de aire.
So in air pollution, it's, I think for the most part, everybody has sort of a sense of what it is. And this is a very simple photo of Denali up in Alaska that shows what it would look like on a clear day and another day when there is pollution in the air that is preventing you from seeing the mountain clearly. Now, one of the problems we have is that not all air pollution can be seen. Some of it is invisible. And so it's important that we understand the effects of both and how to measure and how to protect ourselves from both types of air pollution.
Entonces, la calidad de aire, como dijimos, tiene diferentes factores, pero simplemente la calidad de aire es una medida de qué tan limpio o contaminado está el aire. Aquí en el foto pueden ver la diferencia de un día con buena calidad de aire y otro con una calidad de aire mala, pero no siempre puedes ver la contaminación del aire, entonces en esos casos son invisibles, pero esto es un ejemplo visual que muestra cuando sí puedes ver la diferencia de calidad.
Thank you. Some of the ways or some of the indications that you may be exposed to poor air quality, there are the physical changes. There may be coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath. Your eyes may be burning. Your throat may be burning or feel scratchy. You may have headaches, or you may be physically tired. The problem is with many of these things, including the behavioral changes, it's not always clear just exactly what is causing the problem. And you may be feeling it, but you may not be able to relate it to something that's happening in the air. So in part, some of what we're dealing with is the fact that we are being affected by poor air quality in many circumstances where we don't know that is the actual cause of the problem.
Entonces es muy importante saber cómo reconocer los señales de mala calidad del aire, especialmente porque, como dijimos, no siempre puedes ver la calidad de aire, entonces hay muchos diferentes efectos que pueden dar cuenta. Por ejemplo, los síntomas físicos son el tos o silbidos, la dificultad de respirar, irritación de los ojos y la garganta y la nariz, dolores de cabeza y también fatiga y niveles reducidos de energía. Pero no siempre tenemos esos efectos físicos cuando tiene que ver con la calidad de aire. Entonces, hay algunos cambios de comportamiento, como ser irritable, tener dificultades para concentrar y también aumentar la frecuencia de rabietas o frustración. Entonces, especialmente para ustedes que trabajan con los niños, tal vez pueden reconocer algunos de estos síntomas y tal vez pues tener más entendimiento de tal vez por qué está ocurriendo.
Thank you. I guess what I can say about this, over the last 50 years or so, we as a country have become far more aware of air pollution and some of the effects on health. For those of us who are old enough, we remember times when most of our cities, and particularly here in California, in the urban areas like Los Angeles and San Jose, San Francisco, and so on, we had a lot of problems with what was called smog. And smog is in fact a combination of various chemicals that have been put into the air, mostly from the tailpipes of vehicles. And then also it actually mixes and is changed by sunlight and turns into something that has been found to have very bad effects on things like asthma, other lung conditions, and ultimately on things like problems with even heart disease and even potentially leading to heart attacks. Now, what we've done over time is we've taken a number of steps to basically try to clean up the air, clean up the exhaust that comes from cars. And the effect has been that some of the worst pollution, smog, the worst smog days have been reduced, if not eliminated. But we're finding out that even lower levels of various contaminants are still causing us huge problems. But they're more subtle. They're more difficult for us to see and understand. And the pyramid sort of sets that out in the fact that at the top you might die from air pollution, but not many people die from it. But as you go down the pyramid, for example, near the bottom is asthma. And the number of people being affected by bad air that is causing asthma attacks is quite large around the world. So some of it's very low degree or not particularly obvious, and yet it's still affecting us in very negative ways.
Mi colega Doug estaba hablando sobre la manera que las ciudades hace como 50 años tenían mucha contaminación del aire, especialmente el smog, que literalmente es una mezcla de diferentes pedacitos de contaminación también con el fog. Y pues ahora la mayoría de la calidad de aire ha sido mejor, pero estamos dando cuenta que cualquier nivel, especialmente de contaminación, sí tiene efectos en la salud. Entonces, algunos de esos efectos son problemas respiratorios, especialmente el asma, que es muy común. Además, como ustedes mencionaron, pueden tener reacciones alérgicas y también exposición prolongada puede aumentar el riesgo de problemas de salud crónicos. Entonces, aquí tenemos un pirámide que nos dice diferentes ejemplos de los efectos de la contaminación del aire. Entonces, morir es el pedazo más pequeño del pirámide, sí ocurre, pero no tanto como, por ejemplo, los ataques cardiovasculares. También el asma y también pues a veces cuando hay mucha polución eso puede resultar en ir al doctor mucho o quedar enfermo, especialmente para no ir al trabajo. Además, sí hay diferentes como niveles de la contaminación y de los efectos en nuestros cuerpos, y esos pueden resultar en ir al hospital o tener un ataque del corazón. Entonces, es muy importante saber que todos tenemos una mezcla de estos diferentes síntomas, pero nos reacciona diferentemente.
Actually, something I wanted to put in here before we get to this, and this is kind of the strategies. We can leave it here for the moment. So the sorts of air pollution that you're being impacted by depend very much on where you live. And if you are in a city, probably the biggest single thing that you're being exposed to is automobile exhaust and the effects that that's causing. If you live near a highway, that may be the biggest single factor that you're dealing with. If you live in an industrial area, it may be the emissions that are being put out from the industrial operations. And thinking particularly about the refineries that are located in the Bay Area is one example. The one that we're all being exposed to now that is very different than it was is particulate smoke and other chemicals from the fires. The very large fires that we're seeing and the extent to which we're being exposed to bad air days is way up over what it used to be. And for us, the two main things that we have to worry about generally, other than some of those specifics, is the particulate matter, the very small particles which are being put up, some of which are small enough to make their way all the way into your lungs and into your bloodstream. And the other is the chemical effects of ozone, which is mostly caused by vehicles, the exhaust from vehicles, and the effect of sunlight, which turns it into smog. So ozone is an issue, and it has very bad health effects, and the particulate matter is the other one that we deal with, especially.
Entonces vamos a darle a ustedes diferentes estrategias para pues tomar acciones contra la calidad de aire. Pero es muy importante saber que hay muchas diferentes fuentes de contaminación. Algunas son peores de otras. Como nosotros vivimos en la área de la bahía, también hay diferentes refineries, también hay, si ustedes viven cerca del Highway 4, esos son algunas fuentes de contaminación del aire. Además, en el caso de smog, esos son hechos de diferentes como pedacitos del exhaust de sus carros. Entonces, es en el proceso de hacer eso, es como un humo con diferentes pedacitos de contaminación. Eso se llama materia particular porque es tan pequeño que pues la puedes respirar, y también esos son la realización más específica, por ejemplo, en este caso. Entonces, hay diferentes tipos de contaminantes. Algunos son gases invisibles, otros son, como les dije, materias particulares. Además, tiene que ver con el nivel del ozono. Entonces, estos son diferentes cosas que contribuyen a esa calidad de aire y los cambios de calidad de aire.
Thank you. We didn't put this into our slides, but part of it is in dealing with exterior outdoor air pollution problems is you have to know that it's actually happening, because sometimes, for example, the smoke from the fires you can see, but other times it is not visible to you. There are sources of information. For example, typically the local air quality management district will issue an alert if we are going to have a bad air day, and they would call it, typically they call it a spare the air day. And that is a day when they ask that you don't drive, that you try to take public transit if you're going to be out and about, or that you stay home. And if you are going about your life, that you take steps to protect yourself in various ways, which we'll talk about here. The other one, which is excellent, and Eliana, if you could put this in the chat, it is purpleair.com. And purpleair.com is basically a system of very low-cost air quality sensors that have been distributed around to individual households, not only around the Bay Area, but throughout the country. And they're very simple in the fact that they really specialize in only one of the major pollutants, which is the particulate matter at what's called 2.5, and that's 2.5 microns in size, quite small. But these are the ones, anything that size and smaller is the size that can make its way into your lungs when you're breathing, and they can work their way all the way down into the bottom of your lungs and have the possibility of being transferred over into the bloodstream. So these have become quite an issue. And if you were to take a look at a purple air map, you can zero in on any area around you, and you can see what the real-time measurements are right there in that location. So it's as good information as you can get, almost crowdsourced, to help you understand what the quality of the air is in your area.
Entonces, what was the first part of what you said?
The first one
before
is
purple air?
talking about spare the air days
Oh, okay.
and so on.
Thank you. Es muy importante saber que hay diferentes recursos para decirles el calidad del aire mientras está pasando. Entonces, una manera de hacer eso son Spare the Air Days, usualmente el distrito de mantenimiento de la calidad de aire manda estos noticias para decirles a las personas que por favor no manejan, o si lo van a hacer o tienen que hacer cosas, si pueden utilizar el transporte público. Entonces, en esos días las condiciones de contaminación son extra contaminante. Entonces, te dan las noticias de eso. Además, yo les di el enlace de purpleair.com y eso es un sistema de sensores de aire. Entonces hay diferentes pues medidas para el materia particular. Entonces el 2.5 es el tamaño de calidad de aire o de los contaminantes del aire que los sensores pueden pueden lo siento, se me olvidó mi palabra. Estoy un poco nerviosa. Entonces, para poder ver esta información, tienen diferentes mapas. Entonces, si utilizan este sitio de web, pueden ver cómo esto es una manera buena de tomar medidas del aire y en condición de aire. Entonces, esto no solo es un recurso para las personas en California, sino todo el país. Entonces, eso es una manera para enseñarles en el momento actual qué es el nivel de calidad de aire. Entonces, es muy importante saber cómo monitorear estas alertas y también no mencionó esto Doug, pero también en sus apps para como el app de weather también te dice, usualmente te dice el nivel de contaminación de ese tiempo cuando lo estás viendo.
A couple of the other bullets on this page include the fact that some pollutants, for example, smog and ozone, typically go up as the day progresses, as it begins to heat up and as there's more vehicles and traffic out on the roads. So sometimes it will be better if you're going outside to do any exercise or to do anything that's going to be physically active, early mornings or late afternoon into the evening is better. Try to avoid locations where you might be trying to, for example, jog alongside a heavily traveled street or a road where there's a lot of trucks traveling. In other cases, there's actually some benefit if you're in an area that has a lot of trees. The trees will tend to cut down on the amount of sunlight that is affecting and creating the ozone, and it does tend to cool everything down a little bit as well. So these are things that you don't have a tremendous amount of control over outdoor air pollution. But it starts with being aware of what the air quality is and then taking small steps to protect yourself regarding the sorts of actions or activities that you choose to do.
Entonces, como mencionamos, es muy importante saber los diferentes niveles de contaminación, pero también tenemos estrategias para poder tomar acciones para pues mejorar nuestra salud, porque realísticamente todavía vamos a tener que ir afuera y hacer las diferentes cosas. Entonces, algunas medidas que pueden tomar para reducir el exposición a contaminación del aire son mantener a los niños pues tomar precauciones durante los días de smog o alta contaminación. Entonces, pues primeramente saber cuándo son los días que donde hay más contaminación. Y luego para algunas estrategias son mantener a los niños adentro o limitar los juegos al aire libre durante esos días donde hay mucho smog. Smog es la mezcla de humo y niebla causada por la contaminación del aire. Entonces, hay diferentes tiempos que son mejores para poder ir afuera. Y creo que son en la próxima slide. Pero también es muy importante poder utilizar purificadores del aire y mantener puertas y ventanas cerradas para reducir el exposición de los contaminantes.
Regarding the bullet talking about the air purifiers, certainly one of the problems when we've had the air pollution from the fires, a lot of people have been told to stay inside, keep the windows closed, so that for the most part, you're keeping the outdoor air outside. The problem that you get into is that in many cases, if you don't have air conditioning in your home, then it may become almost impossible to be able to stay inside with the windows closed. There are a number of different portable air purifying units that you can use. They're not really air conditioners, but they do move the air, and they basically move the air across a filter, which is effective in taking out very small particles. You can also use those types of filtration systems inside the house if you're dealing with, for example, allergens and dust and various other issues which may be coming from sources inside the house itself. The cost of those air filtration units, air purifiers, in some cases is out of reach for some families. And there are some designs for what are called box fan filters. And we'll be talking with both Ellie and Catherine about designs for those units. They can actually be constructed at very low cost, or actually there's going to be some groups that are going to be supplying those to families who need them. So they do work in situations where you don't otherwise have access to the high quality units or air conditioning in your home.
Ok, primeramente, los tiempos mejores para ir afuera en las días donde hay mucha contaminación son en la madrugada y también pues antes de que um, antes de que sea noche, pero especialmente no durante los tiempos donde las personas están yendo a la casa del trabajo. Entonces, hay como diferentes cosas que pueden hacer. Uno que ayuda mucho es la sombra, y también sugerimos a ustedes que pues no van a correr junto al, al autopista, eh, porque le va a dar mucha contaminación. Y también am, otro factor muy importante de contaminación aquí para nosotros especialmente son los incendios y la contaminación que viene de eso. Entonces, es muy importante poder utilizar purificadores de aire y mantener las puertas y ventanas cerradas, pero si no puedes hacer eso y también en situaciones donde no hay aire acondicionado, pues realísticamente no pueden mantener las puertas y ventanas cerradas en esas ocasiones. Entonces tenemos diferentes soluciones de que no cuestan mucho para ayudar con la circulación del aire en su casa. Y podemos compartir esos recursos con Catherine y Ali después de nuestra presentación.
Gracias. So this is some more information that will help you understand the issues and the information that you're receiving, for example, on a Spare the Air Day and so on. So air quality and most of our weather apps now. I'm looking at two of them, one on my computer and the other one on my Google screen over here in the corner. Both of them are telling me what the air quality is in my area. And the rating system that you see, 0 to 50 is good. 50 to 100 is moderate. When you start getting up over 100, it becomes unhealthy for sensitive groups, which includes young children, people with asthma or other types of breathing issues or heart problems and so on. By the time you get up over 150, you're in the unhealthy range for virtually everybody. And certainly during the fire season, a couple times in the last few years, we've certainly gotten up into the 300 range here in the Bay Area. A couple other strategies are over on the left-hand side. So the greater the concentration, then you can also limit your exposure by limiting the period of time that you're exposed to it. So the higher the exposure, the less time you want to spend actually doing something like running or working outside or playing sports or otherwise putting yourself out there in that. So basically, and again, there's a difference. 1 hour of running will give you more exposure than 1 hour of walking. So there's a whole variety of different ways that you can reduce your exposure. And by the same token, in the case of the children who are staying with you, you can limit their exposure by, say, for example, limiting the playtime outside if it's a bad air day, or various other ways that you can handle it that way.
Entonces aquí al parte derecho tenemos el índice de calidad de aire. Entonces de 0 a 50 la calidad de aire es buena. Luego mientras el número de calidad de aire crece, es peor la contaminación, el nivel de contaminación es peor. Entonces, hemos tenido estos diferentes niveles de calidad de aire, especialmente en los últimos años con los fuegos muy grandes, los fuegos grandes. Entonces, es muy importante saber esa medida cuando van afuera, porque hay diferentes niveles también. de exposición a los contaminantes. Entonces, por ejemplo, si están corriendo, van a tener más exposición a la contaminación de alguien que está caminando. Similarmente, las personas tienen el poder de poder cambiar donde están. Entonces, algunas estrategias para reducir esa exposición son cambiar donde estás. Y también con eso, el efecto de eso es que también estás cambiando tu exposición a la concentración de esos partículas. Y pues sí hay cosas que pueden hacer para reducir esa exposición. Entonces también tiene que ver con nomás sabiendo esos diferentes niveles y como mencioné antes, los apps del weather en los diferentes teléfonos usualmente comparten eso. Entonces, diferentes cosas que pueden hacer. También si notan que los niños con ustedes están experienciando los diferentes síntomas físicos, también pueden ver al nivel de aire para ver si hay una relación entre esas dos cosas.
Moving inside the house, some of this we've already covered. There's not any real difference. Indoor air quality and air pollution is, again, things that are in the air that can adversely affect your health and so on. The indoor air pollutants include dust, pet dander, pollen, mold. There's a lot of chemicals. Our homes, some of which we're doing to ourselves. If you're using cleaners that have heavy smells to them, or if you have air fresheners that smell like flowers and so on, those are putting chemicals in the air that may not be good. Paints, especially right after you've painted, there are what are called volatile organic chemicals going into the air. And our furniture is giving off a lot of gases from the foam rubber and some of the fabrics and so on. So these are all things we have to worry about. Carbon monoxide is typically a problem if you have a furnace or a water heater or even your stove in a situation where it's not burning properly. And carbon monoxide is particularly serious because you can't smell it and you can't see it. And the other one, which we are becoming very aware of now, is the various types of contaminants that are given off by gas stoves. And this includes the fact that they leak natural gas even when they aren't burning. And when they do, you do light them and you burn the gas, there's a whole series of different types of combustion gases and combustion particles that you're putting into the air. And it's turning out that the stoves themselves are perhaps the worst single source of air pollution in your home, indoors.
Entonces, el calidad de aire del interior es muy parecido a la calidad de aire afuera, pero hay diferentes efectos del calidad de aire interior. Entonces, como ustedes usualmente están adentro, la mayoría de las personas están adentro durante el día, entonces directamente afecta la salud, la comodidad y el bienestar de los niños y ustedes como los cuidadores. Y también puede provocar esos problemas de salud y malestar. Además, algunos contaminantes comunes del aire interior son los diferentes grupos de esos son alérgenos, entonces como polvo, la caspa de los mascotes, polen y esporas de mojo. Pero también la contaminación de aire viene de productos químicos, entonces esos se encuentran en productos de limpieza, pinturas y muebles. También si usan diferentes olores sintéticos, eso también contribuye a la calidad de aire más bajo. Aparte de eso, también monóxido de carbono es un gas incoloro y inodoro que puede ser mortal. Si está presente en altas concentraciones. Y también el metano del estufa de gas natural y las gases de combustión y también las partículas. am, Aunque no están usando la estufa, las estufas de gas siempre están dando niveles de metano. Entonces, estos am, son ejemplos de cosas que tal vez tienen en sus casas como muchos de nosotros. Y vamos a hablar con ustedes también sobre estrategias y nomás darles más información.
Again, we've covered a lot of this. Basically, the same sorts of health effects that we talked about with regard to outdoor air quality also come about if you're being exposed inside. The asthma rates in homes that have got indoor air pollution problems are turning out to be quite high when they actually go in and do measurements and take a look at some of the neighborhoods where it's happening. Allergies are also turning out to be quite a problem. Carbon monoxide and some of the combustion problems will lead particularly to headaches, dizziness, and may actually cause you to feel tired to the point where conceivably you could fall asleep. All of these things, if they go on for some periods of time, move from something which is a short-term problem to something that can affect your health over the long term. So there's a series of signs that you can look for, which may be related to some of the problems. Unpleasant odors, musty odors, health complaints, mold growth. There's a lot of focus on something called black mold in homes because it does cause respiratory problems if it's not treated. So there's a variety of things that are part of it that might give you some sense that you've got a problem.
Similarmente a los efectos en la salud de las personas, de la calidad de aire de afuera, hay similares riesgos para la salud. Entonces, otra vez, esos son los problemas respiratorios como asma, alergias, tos y silencias. Además, pueden presentar como dolores de cabeza, mareos y fatiga. Y también la exposición prolongada puede provocar problemas de salud crónicos. Algunos señales de mala calidad del aire en entornos de las guarderías de ustedes serán olores desagradables o a humedad, condensación en ventanas, quejas de salud frecuentes de niños y cuidadores y también el crecimiento visible de mojo y también la presencia de algo llamado mojo negro. Sí tiene efectos respiratorios si está presente en su hogar.
This slide presents a few of the methods that you can use to improve indoor air quality. Some of them are regular cleaning, taking a look at the ventilation and air circulation, and as we mentioned before, the possibility of adding an air purification or an air filtering system for inside the house. The purple air monitors can actually be placed in the house, and we are in the process of taking a look at if there's even cheaper options for indoor air quality monitors that would be so cheap that we might be able to give them away as part of some of the work that we do, so that you'd have some sense of what's going on in your home. Smoke-free environment. This is huge. If you have smokers in the house, please ask them not to smoke in the house. And after you've moved them outside, you have to clean the house behind them to get rid of a whole variety of different types of contaminants that have been left behind in the home. And last but not least, again, while it's not on this particular list, is the idea of changing out your cooking system to get rid of the smoke and the various types of chemicals and contaminants that are being created by cooking on a normal gas cooktop.
Entonces, queremos compartir con ustedes unas diferentes estrategias de mejorar la calidad de aire en sus guarderías. Entonces, es la limpieza y desinfección periódicas, ventilación y circulación de aire, como mencionamos, monitorear y mantener niveles de humedad adecuados, y también tener un ambiente donde no hay humo. Otra estrategia es cambiar de tu estufa de gas a una solución que vamos a introducir creo que después de esto, pero sí hay esas estrategias para mejorar la calidad de aire. Entonces sí sí podemos hacer una diferencia.
What I'd like to do at this point is just take a minute. We've covered an awful lot of ground. Everybody can probably use a very short break. If you've got questions, comments, things that you'd like to perhaps have clarified, please either put the comments in the chat or raise your hand or just speak up. I think we can handle it, all comers in whatever form they'd like to join the conversation.
Vamos a tomar un tiempo para preguntas. Los hemos dado mucha información, entonces si tienen preguntas o pensamientos, por favor, pueden compartirlas en el chat, también en voz alta, todas las maneras usuales. ¿Tienen cualquier pregunta?
Hi, everyone. I just wondered, Doug, if you could clarify when you were saying the best time or when to avoid taking the children outside to run around would be, you were saying early, like you're saying after the morning commute and then either before or better
Right.
after the evening commute. So basically, if it's rush hour and you live anywhere near, right, high traffic areas, and then also you were saying about the sun, could you explain to me a little bit more when the best time to take kids outside is and the best time to keep them inside?
On the bad days, unfortunately, the best times are early in the morning before rush hour traffic.
Right. Okay.
And then again, after the end of rush hour traffic. And part of it is that when rush hour traffic comes, you've got the immediate problem, which can be particulates and dust and various other things. Trucks put out a lot of particulates, the diesels particularly. So, other factors come into play. Are you right in an urban area? Are you downtown San Francisco? Or are you out someplace near Oakley or Brentwood or something like that? Are you near a highway, major roadways, any of the freeways? Eliana mentioned Highway 4, but all the freeways are equally bad actors in that regard. But as soon as you start getting the pollutants put out by the cars in the morning, and then it turns into a warm day with lots of sunshine, the sun acts on those pollutants and turn it into classic smog. As was mentioned in one of the slides, smog is a combination of the words smoke and fog, and it comes originally from London back in the days when they did have fog and heavy coal smoke. But we've put our own twist on it, which is what we do out here in California. What we call smog is actually the stuff put out from car exhausts interacting with the sun.
Okay.
And so it's ozone and particulates and nitrous oxides and various other types of things. And it gets worse during the day when there's more sun, more heat, and more vehicles.
Okay.
La pregunta de Catherine fue una clarificación sobre los mejores tiempos para ir afuera para los niños durante el día, especialmente cuando hay mucha contaminación del aire. Y esos tiempos son la mañana, la última hora de la tarde y también otra vez un recordatorio para que como pueden evitar las horas punta cuando las personas van y vienen del trabajo. Además, el sol tiene una reacción con los diferentes químicos que están en el aire. Entonces, en los días muy calientes hay más contaminación, pueden tener más contaminación. Y aparte de eso también, el sol junto con las químicas resultan en smog. Entonces, eso es una de las maneras en que smog se aparece en el aire.
I have another question, Doug. So you mentioned for air purifiers inside, there's the box fan setup where people can kind of make their own filter. And I know there's also a lot of different ones on the market. Some of them are very expensive with a lot of bells and whistles, and some are more simple. Does SCOCO have any guidelines for how to choose a good air purifier, or a list of ones that you recommend that we could maybe send out to people after? Because it's overwhelming.
Yeah, actually, we don't. We haven't gotten into that. The one part that we have looked at is setting up some sort of a process by which we could get the box fan filters constructed and get them out to households that need them. It's interesting. We went through a workshop just the other day in which they were making the case that buying a good air purifier system is actually less expensive in the long run. And what you're looking for is one that can handle PM 2.5. And so this is basically the same as the medical grade masks that we've been wearing quite a bit these last few years. I've seen them for $100. I've seen them for $300. And a lot of it is just how much air they can move and so on and so forth. The box fan units are about $30. There are some designs online. They're quite inexpensive, and they just basically use furnace filters that you can buy down at the local hardware store. And I think they're perfectly adequate. Certainly they're an improvement over nothing. But yeah, most would argue that it's better to buy the commercial varieties, but they cost an awful lot of money. So a lot of people can't do that.
Thank you.
Okay, la pregunta de Ali fue si los ventiladores de caja son una solución buena para la contaminación de aire. Y si nosotros tenemos una lista de diferentes opciones buenos para esos ventiladores, Desafortunadamente no tenemos esa lista, pero las ventiladores de caja sí son una cosa que pueden hacer que sí es efectiva. Entonces, que sí trabaja. Entonces, am, para eso pueden buscar información cómo hacerlo, pero también un parte del argumento que siempre aparece cuando estamos hablando de eso es si pueden ingresar este dinero para poder comprar un ventilador, mm, pues los más caros, los ventiladores tienen que ver, el precio usualmente tiene que ver con el filtración y también cuánto aire puede mover entre su casa. Pero sí hay diferentes opciones que no cuestan tanto y um, trabajan muy bien. Y también para los ventiladores de caja, um, para usar eso, los materiales son muy accesibles. Yes.
Fumio?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for the all information tonight. Yes, I was I'm so glad to be here to get to know the lots of great information. And my question is, I know we can able to check outside the air quality, and we can always be careful when see the number goes high but for I was wondering if there is any tool or that checking the air quality, some kind checking for indoor, so that
Yeah, the one that has become that way is Purple Air. Now, anybody can contact Purple Air and they will send you a sensor. And the sensor can be either placed inside the house or outside the house. And in fact, actually, you can go into their site and you can collect, it will show you information for indoor air quality in your area or outdoor air quality. So the outdoor air quality obviously is more useful. You don't particularly care what your neighbor, how bad his kitchen is, but the Purple Air sensors can be used inside or outside. I've heard different things about how much they cost, and we are exploring another indoor air measurement option, which only costs about $15, and it's low enough in price that we're trying to figure out some way that we could get them distributed fairly widely. But that's in the future. But yes, there are indoor air quality sensors. Like everything else, there are cheap ones and expensive ones, and the more expensive ones tend to be better. But then, for most of us, the information is not so important that we're willing to pay the price. So I think that's going to change, but it's a little ways in the future.
Thank you so much.
La pregunta fue si hay diferentes sensores que pueden poner y utilizar en su casa, adentro de su casa. La respuesta de eso es sí. Otra vez, si utilizan purpleair.com, pueden contactar a ellos y les pueden mandar un sensor. Como dijimos para el aire de afuera, esos sensores capturan el nivel de calidad de aire, y si lo usan adentro, eso puede darles más información, especialmente si están notando los diferentes efectos de salud durante esos diferentes tiempos. Entonces, sí hay muchas diferentes soluciones y también nosotros hemos visto un sensor de calidad de aire para adentro que solo cuesta $15. Entonces, es disponible en IKEA, pero eso es una representación visual de la calidad de aire y cuando está cambiando en su casa.
Thank you. Eliana, could we put the presentation back up? We do have one last item we'd like to cover this evening, and certainly if you have more questions, perhaps if you could put them in the chat, we'll either cover them this evening or get back to you with answers in the next few days.
Entonces vamos a resumir nuestra presentación. Tenemos un poquito más de información para compartir con ustedes. Entonces, si tienen otras preguntas, las pueden poner en el chat. Y también si tienen preguntas que tal vez no sabemos la respuesta, podamos también mandar esa información a Catherine y Ali.
Thank you. So we'd like to introduce you this evening to a program that the Bay Area Regional Energy Network is just piloting with SCOCO. And BayREN has been around for a while, and their job is to offer people incentives, cash incentives, to help them improve the energy efficiency of their homes. But now, with everything else that's going on, they have a great interest in everybody beginning to electrify their homes, to get rid of the gas water heaters, to get rid of the gas furnaces, to get rid of their gas cooktops. And so this program called CookSmart is a program in which we are looking for Contra Costa residents to sign up, and we will give you a portable induction cooktop. And there's a picture of them on the next slide. But these things look like hot plates, but they work on induction, which means that it's a different form of cooking, uses electricity. And in exchange for filling out monthly questionnaires for 3 months and attending some cooking demonstrations and various other things so that you can get the most out of the units, you get to keep the cooktops and also cookware that we can supply if need be. And we're very interested in getting people signed up to join us on this.
Cool. Anything else?
Go ahead.
All right. Entonces,
Next one, there you go. Yeah.
nosotros estamos empezando un programa junto con el Red Regional de Energía de la área de la Bahía para tener la oportunidad de mejorar la calidad del aire interior de su hogar. Entonces, estamos trabajando con el programa BayREN. Usualmente ellos ofrecen recursos para como rebates o como reembolsos, pero ahora van a tener un enfoque un poquito diferente hacia la electrificación. Entonces, eso es el proceso de reemplazar tus diferentes como tu calentador de agua, tu estufa, entonces cosas en sus casas que utilizan el gas natural. Entonces, ellos están trabajando con nosotros en un programa donde vamos a distribuir diferentes unidades de cocina de inducción portátiles. Entonces, cocinar con inducción es una manera de cocinar sin gas natural. Es más eficiente energéticamente y también puede mejorar inmediatamente la calidad de aire en su cocina, en su hogar, porque está reduciendo pues el nivel de gas que está en el entorno de su casa. Entonces, en este programa vamos a tener la oportunidad de poder dar a algunas personas que participen en el programa esas diferentes unidades portátiles. Además, vamos a repartir utensilios de cocina compatibles y los requerimientos de participar en nuestro programa es hacer una encuesta cada mes y también venir a diferentes demostraciones de cocinar con la unidad portátil. Entonces, vamos a hablar más sobre eso, pero si ustedes tienen algún interés en pues agarrar más información, vamos a compartir nuestra información de contacto.
I forgot to mention that certainly the advantages of this are that you get rid of the natural gas, you get rid of the flames, you reduce the possibility of burns or fires. You get rid of the various types of combustion products and various other things which are proving to be such a great source or such a bad source of contamination to your air quality in the home. The one other thing in passing these out, particularly to the childcare providers, is that in addition to filling out the monthly questionnaire, we do ask that you actually use the unit during the times when the children are in the house. And most of these are single burner units like the one that you see here. But we do have a number of two burner units for those of you who are doing quite a bit of additional cooking for the children. You're perfectly welcome to use it at any other time, but particularly we want you to get the benefits of clean air while the children are there.
Entonces, una introducción al cocinar por inducción. Esto se basa en la tecnología electromagnética. Entonces, ofrece un control preciso. Además, tienen muchos beneficios a la inducción. Entonces, permanece fresco el tacto, entonces, y solo son calientes. Solo se calientan con utensilios de cocina compatibles, entonces hay un nivel extra de seguridad y también reduce el riesgo de las quemaduras, que es especialmente importante en entornos donde hay niños pequeños. También son fáciles de limpiar y mantener y son silencios porque no tienen pedazos que están moviendo, tanto como los quemadores de gas. Entonces, en este programa también preguntamos que los participantes usan esta unidad de inducción mientras que están cuidando a los niños. Eso es una manera para poder observar los cambios de calidad de aire dentro de su casa, pero también pues ver los beneficios, especialmente con relación a los niños pequeños.
Larissa had a question. How is this different than a regular electric? The electric stoves that you're used to at this point work on a what amounts to they heat up by creating resistance to the electricity that's flowing through them. And of course, the burner becomes very hot and so on. The induction cooking method is one in which there's actually a magnetic coil in the surface of the cooking unit that sets up it basically agitates the atoms in the pot, which is sitting on the burner on the top of the cooking unit. And the agitation in the pot heats up and then heats the food. And so, again, the heat in the room is less. The cooktop itself is cool to the touch. within seconds after you remove the pot. Far less chance of fire and burns. It uses less electricity than a standard electric stove would, and it also, of course, is more energy efficient and better for the air quality than say a gas cooktop. So it is the most efficient way that we can cook food going forward, other than microwave. But if you're going to be cooking stews and cooking things on a cooktop, on a stovetop, then this is the best stovetop that you can have. And these are small single units. They have large units, 4 and 6 burners, but this is a way to get you introduced to the technology.
La pregunta fue cómo las unidades de inducción son diferentes de estufas eléctricas. Entonces, para clarificar eso un poquito, las estufas eléctricas, el reacción que resulta energía, pasa en toda la estufa, pero para las unidades de inducción, solamente en ese reacción de los utensilios de cocinar con el unidad, así realiza el proceso de calentamiento. Entonces es más energéticamente eficiente, y también una manera para reducir el uso de electricidad, pero también introducir a ustedes a cocinar por inducción. También hay diferentes modelos que tienen 4 o 6 diferentes como unidades, y pueden quedar con estos, y nomás queremos enseñarles una manera diferente de cocinar en su guardería.
Someone else had their hand up a short while ago, but I'm not seeing it now.
This is me. It's hello everyone. But you answered my question, because we do cooking class every Friday with the kids, and my question how it hit. But I believe that you answered the question. Thank you so much.
Well, and we will be running cooking classes. So we want everybody to have a good experience with these. And so it does take pots that may be a little bit different than you're used to. And we will supply a limited number, probably 2 or 3 pots, frying pans, what have you, to help you get used to it. But the goal is to make this a good experience for you, to make you a strong advocate for wanting to move these out into throughout your neighborhoods and among all your friends, and basically that you want one of these forever from this point forward. So we'll do whatever we can to make that true for you.
Nuestra meta para ustedes. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, then I have a question. How long we can have those, or how we purchase it, or we can just
No, these
have
are these units are free as part of this BayREN Cook Smart program.
Okay.
And we hope to have them before Christmas, available to be passed out. And if you participate in the program by agreeing to use them when the children are in the home, and to take part in the monthly surveys that we'll pass out so that we can judge your experience, you get to keep everything. We're not asking for any of it back.
Oh, that's great, because in our curriculum we have cooking class every Friday.
Oh, well, we want to talk to you about those cooking classes.
Entonces, las preguntas de ella fue, la primera tenía que ver con las diferentes clases para cocinar, Entonces, vamos a tener diferentes demostraciones para ustedes, porque nuestro meta en este programa es primeramente darles estas unidades gratis. Entonces, si ustedes son participantes en nuestro programa, son gratis para ustedes, pero tienen que pues prometer que van a hacer estas encuestas, nuestras encuestas cada mes. También usar a las unidades de inducción cuando niños están presentes en su guardería, y también que comparten la experiencia con nosotros. Entonces, es nuestra meta que ustedes les gustan estas unidades, pero también este método de cocinar. Entonces, vamos a tener esos diferentes recursos disponibles por ustedes que pueden para utilizarlos. Entonces, los clases, demostraciones de cocinar serán específicamente usando esta unidad de inducción. Entonces, aprender cómo usarlo, y también pueden quedar con ellos después de la programa.
Bennu, you have a question?
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to, I'm trying to understand this, but it says like, so at a time, we can only do one, right? The cooking, like suppose, for example, in my program, when I do, meatballs, rice and mashed potatoes, right? So I'm doing meatballs where then I'm cooking rice, because of I'm talking about the cooking range, right? So I have
Yes.
like 3-4 dishes going at the same time because, as a family childcare providers, we do everything by ourselves. So it's like, so we try to cook, like, for example, as the kids coming in the morning for, and I'm already cooking. So kids in my program can walk in and say, they already smell that I'm cooking meatballs, rice, or, paschetti, they call it. So I was just trying to like put this together, like, same with spaghetti. So, and I'm browning the turkey, but then I have a sauce going on another pan. So like, how would that be possible? Like, so it will take more time, right? Or
Well, for starters, we do have some double burner units. I've got 20 double burner units that are going to be available. I've got 80 single burner units. And we anticipated that particularly in the childcare situations, that there would be a need for larger units. There is a possibility that we might be able to arrange for 2 units. And there's a couple other small tricks to it because these things do use a fair amount of electricity. So you'd have to run it out of 2 different outlets. But in any case, yes, again, I think primarily for us, the key would be that we would like the caregivers to have the opportunity to do the majority, if not all, of their cooking using the induction units while the children are in the house, because the improvement in indoor air quality is going to be immediate. And we're hoping that we can get those cheap indoor air sensors so that you can see how good the air quality becomes. But yeah, exactly for the reasons that you say, we'll see what we can do on that.
La pregunta fue si pues están haciendo como espagueti, por ejemplo, van a necesitar más de un quemador. Entonces, uno de nuestros requerimientos sí es usar el unidad portátil de inducción, pero si están cocinando como algo que requiere más de un sartén, entonces sí, pues sí pueden usarlo, pero queremos que ustedes tienen esta experiencia, pero también pueden ver los efectos inmediatos de usar este quemador de inducción. Entonces, vamos a tener un número muy chiquito de unidades que tienen 2 quemadores, pero nuestra meta con esto y también con ustedes que van a participar es usar ese quemador lo más posible.
Thank you, Doug and Ileana. Just noticing the time, I want to make sure we let everybody get back to their evenings. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up?
No, thank you very much for hanging in there so long with us tonight so that we could get through everything that we wanted to share with you. Thank you for your great questions and for your interest. I think the main thing is that we would like to hear from you if you would like to become part of this program, which is just in the process of being rolled out. So our contact information is there. We also have your contact information from the chat tonight. And we can also work with Allie and with Catherine to be able to connect with anybody who has an interest.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Aliana.
Entonces, nomás queremos darles la gracia de acompañarnos, especialmente porque tienen muchas cosas para hacer. Entonces, si ustedes tienen algún interés en participar en este programa, por favor, contáctenos. Entonces, aquí tienen nuestros correos electrónicos y también nuestros números de teléfono. Entonces, por favor, contáctenos si quieren participar en esto y muchísimas gracias por oír nuestra presentación y todas sus preguntas tan buenas y pues para su tiempo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you both. We appreciate your expertise so much. And before we sign off, I have one more quick announcement, which is that the organization I work with, which is called Healthy and Active Before 5, we have funding to support a dozen childcare providers around the county with a $500 mini grant to support changes at your childcare to improve air quality or address other things related to climate change, like be prepared for all the hot days and rainy days that we're coming to expect, helping children to learn about the environment, things like that. So I will be sending you all an email later this week with information about that. You will need to do a brief application, but hopefully a lot of you will be able to take advantage of that too. So just to close out, we have 3 ways that you can continue to make changes or ways to support you. One, everyone here will receive a $100 stipend that will be coming from Coco Kids, so keep an eye out for that. Contact Doug and Eliana if you want to participate in the Cook Smart program and get those free cooktops, and then keep an eye out for an email from me for the mini grant application. I think that's it. Anything else, Catherine?
No, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging in there with the translation. And it takes a little longer, but everyone was included. And thank you for coming tonight. We're really excited about some future work around this important topic.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you so much for everything.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.